Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're getting into electric cars.
That's right.
We've got this really interesting piece to guide us. It covers someone's personal story, some key vocab, and even, common mistakes people make talking about them.
Yeah, it's quite practical.
So our goal today, really just to give you a clear, engaging look at EVs, sort of cut through all the hype and maybe the confusion.
Exactly. Focusing on how it feels day to day and, crucially, the words we actually use when we discuss this big shift in transport.
Okay, let's start with Daniel's story then. So he buys an electric car.
Mm-hmm.
And he's really excited initially. The quiet ride, the idea of never visiting a gas station again. Sounds great.
Sounds ideal, doesn't it? But then reality kind of bites.
Yeah, hits a few snags. Suddenly he's always looking for charging stations, keeping an eye on the battery level.
That classic range anxiety we hear so much about. It's that little worry in the back of your mind, right? Will I make it?
Definitely. So his experience right at the start, it really highlights that initial hurdle, that mindset shift needed for someone thinking about an EV.
It really does. And his solution, getting a home charger installed, that was probably the biggest thing for him. It tackles that anxiety head on.
Makes sense. Charge it overnight, like your phone.
Precisely. But also the fact he had to plan his routes more carefully, especially longer ones. Well, that shows the kind of adjustments people often have to make, particularly early on.
Right. But it wasn't all negative, was it? The story mentions that after a while, he started noticing the saving.
On fuel and maintenance often.
And he felt good about, reducing his carbon footprint.
Yeah.
So those initial challenges sort of paved the way for real benefits later on. Satisfaction, even.
It's a common narrative, actually. Initial learning curve, followed by long-term gains.
And Daniel's story, it brings up some of that key vocabulary, like plug in.
Yeah.
The text says, I plug in my electric car every night. Simple enough. It's just connecting it, right? Like charging any device. Does that feel familiar to you, that routine?
Absolutely. It becomes second nature, just like plugging in your phone or laptop. It's the basic act of refueling an EV.
Okay, then there's run out of, as in she almost ran out of battery on the highway.
Oof, yeah. That taps right back into the range anxiety we mentioned. That's specific fear.
It's a feeling most of us know well from our phones dying at the worst possible moment.
Definitely relatable.
And the way to avoid that, you need to charge up.
All right.
The example is make sure to charge up before a long trip. It's just preparation, isn't it? Like filling a gas tank, just electrically.
Exactly. Standard trip prep is a different kind of energy. And the last phrase here is cut down on.
Ah, yes. Electric cars help cut down on air pollution. This one points to the bigger picture, the environmental side.
Which is a huge reason why many people make the switch. These phrases, though simple, really capture the essence of owning and using an EV.
So beyond those action phrases, there are some other important terms floating around.
For sure. Things like charging station. That's basically your electric equivalent of a gas station, right? Where you top up on the go.
Got it. And carbon emissions.
Those are the greenhouse gases, mainly CO2, released when we burn fossil fuels like gasoline. EVs, well, they don't produce tailpipe emissions, so they help reduce that.
Okay. And battery range. That links back to Daniel's anxiety.
Yep. Simply how far the car can go on one full charge. That number is key for planning.
And finally, renewable energy.
Right. So that's power generated from sources that don't run out, like solar panels or wind turbines.
So if you charge your EV with electricity from renewable sources,
then the whole process becomes much, much greener. It really maximizes that reduced carbon footprint benefit Daniel was feeling good about. It's not just the car, it's where the power comes from.
That makes a lot of sense. Understanding all this really clarifies things. The source also mentioned a couple of common sort of grammar mistakes.
Yeah. Little language things, like saying, I drive electric car.
Instead of,
I drive an electric car. You need that article and before the noun.
Yeah.
Small thing, but grammatically correct.
okay, just a basic grammar rule. And the other one
Saying, it helped to reduce pollution.
should be, it helps.
Exactly. Subject-verb agreement.
Mhm.
It is singular, so the verb needs that S, helps.
Mm-hmm.
Again, seems minor, but Using clear, correct language just helps communication all around, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Precision matters, even in casual chat. So, just to kind of wrap things up, electric cars, they clearly have plus points like the smooth ride, fewer emissions.
Definitely.
But, they do require some changes in habits. Thinking about charging, planning routes a bit more, maybe is.
A shift, for sure.
And getting comfortable with the vocabulary, like we've discussed, seems pretty crucial for talking about it all confidently.
Yeah, knowing the terms helps you understand the discussions and participate in them.
So, thinking about Daniel's whole journey, the initial excitement, the worries, the solutions, the eventual satisfaction, and also the environmental side, what's one aspect of this whole shift to electric transport that maybe stands out most to you listening right now? Something to think about.
It really is that balance, isn't it?
Okay.
Weighing the upfront adjustments, the cost maybe against those longer-term benefits, personal savings, smoother driving, and the bigger environmental impact.
A great point to ponder. Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive today.
Been good talking it through.
We hope it was insightful, and we look forward to exploring more topics with you again very soon.
Yeah, until next time.
Goodbye for now.